Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I thank you so much for clicking on this video. So I wanted to make a little story time for you guys. I was thinking about this last night. I was actually gonna make a cooking video, but I just couldn't stop laughing and thinking about this particular time in my life when we were young. So I don't know, since today's Friday and we clearly have nothing to do, I wanted to humor you guys a little bit and share with you guys a story that happened to me and my cousin and my sister and my friends when I was in high school. So if you guys are interested in seeing what was the result, just go ahead and keep on watching. All right, guys, so for starters, I wanted to share with you guys that I am part of that family, traditional Mexican family, that we are not allowed to go out. We are not allowed to have boyfriends till a certain time. So, I mean, that was back then when we were the first generation here. So my parents and my family migrated here from Mexico. So most of my cousins were all pretty much born here or pretty much kind of raised with American traditions. So anyways, one thing that my parents did kind of bring into their culture was women were not allowed to go out after a certain time. They had to be home after a certain time. God forbid if we were with a friend after 8:00 p.m. being 16, that was like hell. So yeah, so pretty much we had strict parents. Most of my cousins, most of my family, we had, which we're so grateful for because we've become the people that we are now. But at one point, like, it was the worst thing ever. I wanted to move out at 16 years old. I hated being home. And yeah, so that was pretty much our story, which leads me into talking about what happened that particular Friday night. So my sister, she had just bought in her car. My older sister, she's about 1.5 years older than me. She had just bought in her car, and this was a two-door Honda Civic, very popular, 1998, I believe. This year was 2006, 2007, and 2008, around that time. So my sister was already, I think she was already 18. I think she was 18 already. Yeah, I think she was already 18. So this was her senior year, and this was my and my cousin's freshman year, because me and my cousin and my sister, we've all went to the same high school together. So we had so much fun, and there's so much stories I wish I could share with you guys, and it was such a great time. High school was the best time, but maybe I can tell you guys more about that a little later. But anyways, back to that day. So my sister already had that car. She had just bought it, I believe it was maybe a week or a month, one of that. Anyways, she had just turned 18, and we were just wanting to go out, right? We were going everywhere. We were after school, after our classes, we would go out to eat, go to like a Mexican restaurant that was down the street from our school, and we would just go eat there after school, or even go get Starbucks, go get ice cream, like anything. We just wanted to go out, not be home right after school, right? And of course we would probably ditch and all that. But anyways, so going back to that day, like I said, it was a Friday night, and we were so excited. My cousin came to get ready at my house. And we asked my dad, like, hey dad, there's a movie happening. By the way, my dad didn't know that we were getting ready to go to watch a movie. Usually what would happen, my cousin would come over to my house, or I would go over to her house like every other Friday or on the weekend. So we would always hang out. So it was nothing out of the ordinary. But like 6:00 comes around, and my cousin came over. Me and my sister were in our room because we used to share a room, and we're getting ready, right? And we're like, okay, well, let's get ready. And we kind of just went outside to tell my dad, like, hey dad, cousin came over. Can we go to the movies? The movie starts at 8 and the movie won't be over until probably like 10:30. It's a 2-hour movie and we wanted to see if you can let us go out. We are already ready. We're already ready. So we were wondering if we can go down the street to the movie theater to go. So after my dad ate, he thought about it and he said, well, you did just get your car and I know you're responsible. This is my dad thinking, I'm assuming in his head, right? Because we never go out, we never went out, we never did anything wrong. So, which we didn't, but I'll get into detail with that. So my dad said, okay. So we were excited. We couldn't believe that my dad had said yes. Now, mind you, before all this happened, we had already planned out with our friends and us. We had already a little plan going on that we were actually not gonna go to the movie theater. This was a little plan that we had in mind. Back then, there used to be an all ages club around where I live about 30 minutes ago that was in around that time. And everybody would talk about it in high school, right? And everybody said, have you been to this place? It's an all ages club. There's no alcohol. They don't serve alcohol, but it's so much fun. You can drink before you get there. All this and that, right? So we're like, we never really drank before. My sister's 18. I was only 17. We never really drank. So to us, it was something so new, right? So I was like, okay, well, that sounds fun. So anyways, sorry, I'm jumping back and forth in my story, but yeah, we had that planned and we had already told our friends and we messaged our friends letting them know that it worked. And we were gonna be going out there and meeting them. And we were so excited. And this was, like I said, this was about 30 minutes away. And we were just excited, right? So we ended up wearing like decent, clothes, like a t-shirt, a shirt, a nice cute top, some jeans, some tennis shoes, a nice little jacket, and our hair nice and ready. By the way, at this time, my hair was red. I had really short hair. Maybe it was like this short and it was red. So yeah, that was me in high school. And I'll insert a picture a little later. Just stay tuned for that. Yeah, I have pictures, guys. So we go, we get ready, just decent, right? Next thing you know, we get to the mall. We get to the theater, right? Because there's a movie theater there. We get to the mall. And we bring out our clothes to go, because back then, shuffling was in, right? House music, shuffling, all that type of music, and wearing those exotic, like, nets and crazy clothing and just crazy clothes, right? So yeah, so we dressed up. I remember I was wearing like a purple shirt, and I'll insert a picture. Like I said, I'll just stay tuned to the picture. I think it was like a purple shirt. I had like a bandana, short shorts, stockings. It was like the craziest outfit. Short shorts, by the way, super short, because we're going to what are those, the shuffle parties? I don't know, I even forgot how to, anyways, we're going to go to that type of music. So we get so excited, we dress up, we change, we put our old clothes in our bags, and we're dressed like crazy, right? We pick up a friend and we're off we go. So much fun. Now, the only thing was that we had to not park inside the structure, I believe, because what happens is that it gets really it got really compacted, or it gets really packed from what we had heard, that it was hard to get out of there. So best case scenario was to park down the street from like people, what they have said, right? Down the street, there's a 24-hour fitness, I think there's a 24-hour fitness there, right? Or there is. We parked down the street, and everybody is doing it, right? And they parked down the street, and the thing to do was have alcohol, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar or if they still sell them or if people still drink them, but back then the biggest thing that had just come out was the Four Locos. Those were locos. Crazy, like, whoa. So, just thinking about it, we had 4 girls in the car, and then I think we met up with all our other friends. So one of their friends bought the alcohol or something. So we had 1 can for 4 girls. My sister was driving, so I don't think she drank. So I think she just tried it or something. But me, my cousin, and my friend in the car, and then everybody was passing around that 1 tall can of Four Locos. So we finished the drink. It's already like 9. By the time that we got there, we got ready. We got there at 9 and we're ready to go in. The line wasn't that long. So we managed to get in really quick. Entrance was only like $10, I believe. We paid it, we got in. And this was our official first club experience ever. We had never been to a club. This was our first time going to a club, from my understanding. Yeah, this was like our first official, like all ages club kind of thing. So we get there, we're having so much fun. We're feeling buzzed because we had finished a Four Loco between 4 girls or 3 or whatever. So we were pretty drunk, supposedly us. And yeah, time passed and we were going in and out of lines and we were going crazy, and it was just a great time. Like, I've never had so much fun. Like, first time experiencing a club and having so much fun. Like, I wasn't even like drunk like I thought I was, but I don't know. So yeah, so everybody was rolling. They offered us some pills and we're like, I'm okay, thank you. I've heard stories. I passed. So I was like, I don't want my club experience to be the first one and me dying or whatever, dehydrating or whatever the case. Mind you, my parents are still thinking that we're in the theater, right? Watching a movie. It's 9:30, 9:45 at this time. We're dancing, we're having a good time with my friends. And my phone started ringing. My mom. Crap. And then I was like, dang, I need to answer, because I usually always answer my mom's calls because she won't be worried and she won't keep calling me. So she'll have an understanding that I'm okay. It's her once, so she knows that I'm doing okay. And there's no need for her to get worried, and there's no need for her to call cops on me or whatever. So I had a habit, so I had to go to the restroom, and then of course one of us went to the restroom. We all had to go. So I answered the call, and my mom's like, oh, what time are you guys getting home? It's already almost 10. You had told your dad that you guys would be back by 10. So my excuse was, Mom, the movie was actually longer than we expected. The movie won't be over till like 10:15, 10:30. I'm not too sure. But I will call you. She's like, okay, call me at 10:15 and let me know. Okay. We weren't too far from the movie theater to my house, right? We were 10-15 minutes away. So everything's good. We took a picture and yeah, we're good. 10:15 comes around. My mom calls again. And I said, we have to go to the bathroom again. I have to answer my mom's call. She's calling me now. Or are we gonna leave? Was what I asked my sister. And she's like, no, it's still early. Why are we gonna leave? We're having so much fun. We were already like in a group. We had met new people. Like, my sister's like, no, just let it go to voicemail. So I was like, okay, I'll let it go to voicemail. So I let it go to voicemail. She kept on calling me nonstop. 10:30 comes around. My cousin's mom, which is my mom's cousin, called her, and then that's when they were getting worried, like, hey, what time are you guys getting home? It's about that time. It's getting late. You guys shouldn't be out so late. Back again to our traditions, right? That we shouldn't be out, women shouldn't be out so late, especially, you know, on a Friday night. You never know what could happen. So, we kind of told each other like, hey, I think it's time for us to go. So 11 came around and we were already kind of going home, right? We were already on our way out. So unfortunately, we had to tell our friends like, hey guys, we're gonna end up leaving. It was so much fun. We were saying our goodbyes. We really can't wait to share our pictures, because obviously that's what we would do. We would obviously take pictures and share pictures as everybody else does now. Same way as it was 10 years ago, it is now, or 12 years ago, I'm not too sure. So we're walking towards the car and we're walking across the street. By the way, it's already 11 o'clock and it's dark outside, and we weren't familiar with this kind of like night, right? We never went out without our parents. It was a little scary, but there were still people out. Like it was different. It was an experience, right? Whew. Our first time going out, experiencing without our parents, like going out like that, like crazy, you know? But we felt safe because we knew we were going to a car, right? Wrong. We got to where my sister had parked her car. As I told you guys, my sister had a Honda Civic, 2-door car, 1998, I think. Those cars are the easiest and were the easiest to break into and get stolen, right? So yes, the car was not there. We were walking and walking and looking, and we're like, are you sure you parked here? Like, were you not drinking? Did you drink? And at this point, my sister was already getting upset. She's like, no, I didn't drink. Like, I knew where I parked my car. She was already kind of going back and forth in her head. And she says, it's not here. They stole it. And yeah, my sister's car was stolen. My parents didn't know where we were at. They did not know what the heck we had ourselves into. They thought we were watching a movie. I think about this time at this particular moment and it's horrible. Like, the feeling was the worst feeling ever. So we're freaking out. We're like, okay, well, maybe they towed it. Maybe it's around here. Maybe somebody has it in a towing truck. Like, we didn't know what to think, right? So we're like, okay, let's go to across this, like literally in that parking structure. 24-hour fitness is right there. At this point, my mouth is dry. Just thinking about that makes my mouth dry. My mouth was dry because I was so nervous. I was scared and I couldn't even talk. My words wouldn't come out of my mouth. Like, I was like, what? Like, I was freaking out. I was in a stage of shock. My cousin was too. We were all crying. My sister was freaking out. She's like, my car. So at this point, I go into 24 Fitness and I ask the tenant, the person inside, and I ask them like, hey, by any chance, do you have cameras? Like, we're at this point, like, we're sure that somebody stole my sister's car, but we just need to make sure if it was stolen or if it was towed or what happened. And the lady looked at me like, okay, 14-year-old, get a grip. Once I described the car to her, she's all like, your car was stolen. Cars get stolen here all the time. I would suggest you call the cops. With that type of attitude, I was like, how annoying. At that point, I swallowed my pride and I said, can I please have water? Like, I was so nervous and so embarrassed and so like scared for my life that I was like, we were victims of a stolen car. Like it was scary. It was a scary moment, especially for a 17, 16-year-old that, never has done any type of stuff like that, supposedly like gone out like that, This was our first experience going out to a club. So Yeah, they brought us water bottles. We were freaking out outside, and we just didn't even know like what to do, who to call, like, but obviously by the way, still had our clothes, like our rave looking clothing. Like, we looked like cartoons. I don't know, we looked horrible. So we're freaking out in the street, looking like hookers, basically. Horrible, 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 horrible. So what did we have to do? We had to call our parents. That was the worst phone call I had with my mom. So I wish I could have recorded, but all I remember was I called my mom, and because my sister couldn't even talk, she was freaking out. She was having like a full-on panic attack, and I had to calm down and call my mom, be like, hey. At that time in life, we didn't have Uber. I mean, taxis, we were scared to call taxis. Like, we didn't, like, who used taxis back then, right? Like, California is not known for taxis. Like, you get like the bus or something, but not a taxi. Like, that wasn't the common thing to do, right? Either way, we had to tell our parents because the car was stolen. So regardless of the fact, I had to call my mom. And I did not want to talk to my dad, so I was freaking out. So all I remember was telling my mom, they stole my sister's car. It took her a minute to grasp, but all I remember was saying her like, yeah! So that's pretty much what I remember. And everything else was a blur. And I remember telling her, like, I couldn't even tell her where we were at because I had no idea where we were at. Honestly, we had no idea. We knew we were in a city, but we had no idea how to get directions or give directions or how to, like, I didn't even know the freeways. Like, I had no idea, like, freeways, like, how to get to one place to another. I was only 16. So that was that. And we had to call my dad. My dad didn't want to pick us up. He said, no, you got yourself in that mess, you figure it out. And of course, we were with my cousin. So, you know, my dad had to touch his heart and be like, well, they're not alone. They went with their cousin. So obviously they got all together, and then they ended up going with my uncle to pick us up. So yeah, so they were really mad. The worst thing about it, like, we didn't know how to give directions, so it took them about an hour to get to us because we had no idea. We would be like, we're at a McDonald's here, like, we know that we got off this exit and then we made a right here. We know we saw a McDonald's there. We'll walk to the McDonald's. So is what we ended up doing. We ended up walking to a McDonald's or like a fast food restaurant, and this horrible, you know, my dad, my mom, like, they saw us in our decent clothes, right? It's like, what? And then for them to see us in because our bags, our purse, by the way, I had just bought in a bag. Ugh, I'm so annoyed. I was so mad. I had just ordered it. I remember that was my first bag I had ever ordered, also online, and I got it shipped and everything. And it was a huge, beautiful turquoise, like this color bag, and I loved it, right? That was stolen. That was stolen in there. All my clothes were in there. So, like, we had no way to change. So you saw is what you got. So what you saw is what you got. So basically and let me insert a picture so you guys can see how we all looked. Obviously I blurred the pictures of my friends and my cousin, my sister, because, you know, just for privacy reasons. But yeah, that's me and my friends and my cousin and my sister. So yeah, that was how we looked. So the whole ride back home was horrible, was silent. The only thing that my dad said was, "Está muy bien lo que hicieron." And all I remember was like, I was blown away by that. Why? Because that was literal, like, that was like from a movie. Like, what? your first time going to a nightclub, all ages, you end up getting your car stolen to get caught. Like, what? It's horrible. But yeah, that's what happened to us. And to this day, I think about it. I was just thinking about it yesterday and I couldn't stop laughing and how awkward and embarrassing that was. But yeah, that's one of the many things that have happened, and I don't regret any of it. It was so much fun. That night was the best. That next Monday, obviously, we were all talking about the craziness. We ended up finding my sister's car, by the way. We ended up calling the cops. Sorry, I forgot to mention that, but we ended up calling the cops. We gave the description of the car. So like 2 hours later, when we went to sleep, when we got home, my sister couldn't sleep. Obviously, she was crying. And we got home, and 2 hours later, after I think it was already like 2 in the morning, the cop ended up calling my dad saying that they found the car. And it just didn't have a stereo, no purses were there, everything was stolen. So obviously I knew that was gonna happen, but at least they found her car, so we just had to go pick it up pretty much. So yeah. So that was that, and that was a crazy night. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this story time craziness, and if you guys did, definitely don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I will be making more story time. Unfortunately, we can't really do much, but I would love to get your minds off of all the stuff that's going on and kind of give you guys a little humor, a little story time, and share that with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and I will see you guys on my next video.